welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today I am making a soap for my husband and all the United States Marines out there. November 10th, 2025 is the 250th anniversary of the United States Marine Corps, and my husband was a career Marine, and so I have a really special place in my heart for all Marines out there. It also happens to be the 250th for the Navy and the Army, I believe. Also, they are 1 year older than our Declaration of Independence, so long history. It's so rich, and if you want to check out the Marine Corps history, the United States Marine Corps Museum in Quantico, Virginia is amazing, and my husband has a brick there. You can look around for that. It's pretty cool. So that's what the inspiration for today's video is. And the Marine Corps colors are scarlet and gold. And I thought about doing a soap like that, but I decided to go with a camouflage. And it's not the modern digital camouflage that most of our soldiers have today. It's the old school one that my husband went through officer training in and wore. It was from, let me see, about 1981 to 2004, they had the woodland green camo, was kind of the gold standard in the Marine Corps back then. So I'm going to do an attempt at duplicating that type of camouflage today. And I have here, this is not a soap stamp, this is a wax seal, you know, old-fashioned letters, and they would do the wax seal. And it is the Marine Corps, I hope it comes up, Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. And I'm going to try to make that come out on our soap bars. It's really not very deep. I'm hoping it comes out because I want it to represent for all my Marines out there, Marine spouses and Lady Marines, all of you all. Thank you so much for your service. And so with our United States Marines in mind, I am going to be making a goat milk soap today because we want to take care of their skin. They deserve a little something, something. So it's going to be a goat milk soap. I'm going to be doing the milk in oil method. I'm sharing a brand new recipe today, and of course it'll be written in the description box down below. So one of the things with doing a camouflage, camo type soap pour, which isn't a pour, is we're going to have to get this soap batter up to a nice thick consistency, a little bit thinner than frosting consistency, but more thick than a pouring consistency because we're going to plop it in the mold. And so it's kind of a plop method. It's a little bit messy to do, but I'm looking forward to doing it. It comes out really cool looking in the end. And you don't have to do traditional cami colors if you wanted to do something really fun like a pink theme camo, or, you know, take it any direction you want. That would be cool too. But today I've got my Marine on my mind and he's in my heart. And so we're going to honor the Marine Corps anniversary today. So let me get everything pulled together and get my goat milk and get everything prepped and ready to go. And let's come back and make some United States Marine Corps 250th anniversary soap today. All right, we are back to measure our oils and butters for this recipe. I have my lye solution cooling. I have my goat milk ready off to the side, the fragrance that I'm going to use, and I have my 4 containers that I was splitting the batch off and coloring. And when we get to mixing the lye and the oils, I'll talk you through what I'm going to do with the colorants to try and duplicate this woodland camo style. I'm going to try, I don't have perfect colors, so I'm going to have to kind of try to create them. And we'll talk through that when we get to that stage. But right now, let's talk about the recipe. This is a new recipe that I'm sharing today. And the first ingredient I need is coconut oil. I need 10.8 ounces or 306 grams of coconut oil. Okay, and our next ingredient, I'm going to be using my home rendered tallow or store-bought tallow. I'll leave a link for some good tallow down below. We need 5.4 ounces or 153 grams of tallow. All right, and for our butter, we're using mango butter today, and I need 3.6 ounces or 102 grams of mango butter. Okay, that is it for my hard oils and butters, and now I'm going to go pre-melt these a little bit before we get to our liquid portion. We have a nice pre-melt on the hard oils and butters, and now I'm going to be adding castor oil and I need 1.8 ounces or 51 grams of castor oil. Okay, and my next oil is avocado oil, and I need 3.6 ounces or 102 grams. All right, my last oil is sunflower oil, high oleic sunflower oil, and I need 10.8 ounces or 306 grams. All right, that is it for the soap recipe oils today. Let me get the scale off to the side. And now we're going to do soap additives. So I do have the fragrance in here, and the fragrance I'm using today is a 5% fragrance. So that's what I added to my oils. And it has been discontinued, so I'm not going to talk about it. Look up whatever fragrance or essential oil that you're using. So now for my additives, I'm going to do the milk and oil method. So here is 4 ounces of goat milk. My lye ratio to liquid, I do a 28% liquid volume, and that's 28% of the total is liquid. And I know that sounds confusing, but if you're in Soap Calc or any soap calculator, it's going to ask you what percentage of liquid you want. It defaults to 38%. I usually go on the steeper discount, and so I do around 25 to 28% liquid. All right, so let me pull over my little lye bucket here. I don't have my gloves on, so I'm going to be really careful. I'm going to get my gloves on before we stir this and pour it. But I need 10 ounces, actually 10.1 ounces, or 286 grams total of liquid. And then this recipe with the oils that we're using today is 5.1 ounces or 146 grams of sodium hydroxide. So when I do this sort of milk and oil method, I know I need at least 5.1 ounces of water. I always round up, so I have 6 ounces of water mixed with my 5.1 ounces of lye in here, and then I have 4 ounces of goat milk. That is how I figure out my milk and oil. If you're doing coconut milk, goat milk, cow milk, soy milk, rice milk, any kind of milk or additive, aloe vera gel, that would work too. This is how I figure it out. I hope I didn't overcomplicate that. So all you need to know for sure is whatever amount of lye, sodium hydroxide that you're using, you need at least that much liquid to dissolve it in. And then the extra volume you can do in special ingredients. So that's what we've got here. So we're going to go ahead and quit talking about it and get my milk in here. You know, just because this is a big bad marine bar, they could use a little skin-loving goodness like goat milk. And on that note, we're going to add our oats and our clay because we love our marine skin. And I mean girl Marines too. They can be big bad Marines too. Hats off to all you lady Marines out there. All right, there go my oats. Here goes my kale and clay. Pull that off to the side, being very careful. And let's get this blended up, and then we'll come back and talk about the colors and how I'm going to try and make what I have on hand work for this. And we're back. We are all ready to go here, but first let's talk about colors. All right, this is the woodland camo that my husband used to wear. It went from the early 80s to the early 2000s. And there it is. So when I was thinking about how to do this recipe, I wanted oils that would thicken up a little quicker because I don't want them to blend or swirl at all. And we're going to plop them into the mold. And there's the colors we're going for. So we have a sand, a green, and a black, and a brown. So there is what it looks like or should look like. So that is the inspiration. And here are the colors that I have. I just went back to my shelf. I'm not going to buy brand new colors. I'm going to work with what I've got. So let's talk about the green first. I have this matte woodland green pigment. This is from Crafter's Choice, which is Wholesale Supplies Plus. And it's a nice dark green. So to this, but it's not a camouflage green. So to this, I might add a touch of my activated charcoal to sort of muddy it up a little. And also the fragrance I'm using has a 0.3% vanillin, so it should beige the soap up a little, which will also help to dirty that green up. So that's the green color, and as we get it blended in the pot, I'm going to sort of mix and add as I need to get it to what I think it should look like. And for the brown, I have luster brown. So it's just a nice dark brown. I also have off to the side my pre-mixed titanium dioxide. If this looks too dark and I want to muddy it up a little, I'll add a touch of TD to lighten it. I don't know if I'll need to. So again, we're just going to have to play with it. And then of course for the black, I have activated charcoal, just straight up. So there are, and then the uncolored portion will be the sand portion, and I'm hoping that this fragrance will just beige it up a little, like this ivory beigey color. That'll be fine with me. I know it's not a true like desert sand color, but we're going to go with it. We're doing as close as I can get here. So there are the colors. That is the game plan. And again, when we get to mixing, I'm just going to have to kind of take it by ear and see what looks appropriate and just shoot for the best, closest match that I can get. All that being said, here is my little bucket of lye solution, which I did put some cane sugar in here. It's a lather booster. Sugar makes bubbles. I do have a tuss of silk fibers because we want to love our marine skin. A little bit of silk in there is good for them. And I have sodium lactate, which is going to help this bar firm up for the next day so we can unmold tomorrow and get to cutting and see how all this came out. You know, I can't wait. So again, the tallow and the mango butter are faster tracing oils, so that should help kind of hopefully not speed things along too quickly, but so I don't have to wait around forever. You know what I mean? There's a balance. Let's get to blending this. This will be fun. My husband is very excited about the 250-year Marine anniversary. He's going to have a cake at work. He works with a other couple of Marines or former Marines. I guess you're never really former Marine. They will correct you. Once a Marine, always a Marine. All right, let's get this blended. And we're going to watch this go ivory here. That is the lye and the goat milk sort of doing a chemical caramelizing thing. Actually, that color would be good. If it stays that sort of beigey color for our sand portion, that would be great. Now, I don't want to overmix this because I have to play with the coloring, and I will mix each individual pot to get it up to consistency. So I'm going very light on the mixing. I'm really just stirring with my stick blender right now. And then we will do our heavy mixing after I get the colors where I want them. All right, it is the next day, and I want to talk about a couple of things here. Number one, this was very messy. I got charcoal. I'm going to have to give my little mold here a nice bath afterwards. It was a messy soap to make, but it was fun plopping it in the mold. Number two is look how nice that top is. I did not steam the top this morning at all. Last night, or yesterday, sorry, it wasn't night, but yesterday when I finished pouring it and everything, I took my 99% isopropyl alcohol, misted the top. I set my mold on top of my heating pad and put a cooler over the top of that. So it did go through gel phase, but the top is really glossy. And my experience working with activated charcoal is a lot of times it'll get a little soda ash or dull looking, but this morning it's bright and shiny. I did nothing to this top this morning and I think it looks fabulous. So I did the alcohol. That was my trick for this top. And let's talk about the gray, my brown. Good heavens, yeah, when it turned gray in the mixing cup, I was like, oh, I hope it bounces back, but it doesn't look like it's going to. So instead of brown, I have gray in there. Made me a little sad, but I'm hoping the camo theme comes through, and there's only one way to find out. Let's get this out of the mold. Are back with the lovely Olga, and I want to point something out on the side here. You can see teeny little air pocket holes. I don't know if you can see them because the batter was so thick when I poured. I'm hoping I don't have too many air pockets or little tiny bubbles in there. I did, after a couple of layers, I tapped it really hard on the tabletop several times during the plopping method. I don't know what else to call it. Spooning in my messy method, but I am loving how it looks from the side. I sure wish that gray would have stayed brown, but I'm not gonna harbor on that too much because it's done and over. So we're just dealing with what we've got here. All right, so this recipe was a fast moving recipe, and I'm saying recipe because the fragrance that I used, which has been discontinued, was not a trouble fragrance. I've used it before and it did fine. So I think between the tallow and the mango and the lower liquid oil portion, this was a fast moving recipe, which, ooh, this is gonna be cool, can be beneficial if you were gonna make frosting. I think this recipe would be great for a soap frosting, and it remained workable. I could stir it down. All right, here we go. I think that's pretty groovy looking. Can't wait to see as we get deeper in. And there's a little air pocket, and I will show you how to fill those in later. When I bevel the sides, you take a little bit of the soap shavings, and it's still pliable today, and you can make a soap dough and fill in your holes and try to get a color match. Pretty cute. Anyway, as far as fast moving recipes go, this would make a great soap frosting recipe, I think. All right, there's another hole, but oh goodness. These are cool, and it's giving me camouflage vibes for sure. So my apologies to all you Marines out there. This is not the correct colors for woodland camo, but I think the point comes across. If you have a hunter in your life, or a Marine, or an Army guy, or any service member, I think that this type of bar would be wonderful for them. And the goat milk and the mango butter, even though it's a fast-moving oil, is so nice on your skin. So this is going to pamper your hunter, your soldier, anybody. This is going to pamper their skin also. Yeah, we're going to fill in some holes. It's really not bad though. I was expecting maybe more, so this is not too bad. Oh, this one looks cool, and each bar is different. I think that's pretty cool looking. I wish the gray was brown, and I think we would have nailed it, but I'm still pretty happy with these. So happy 250th birthday to the United States Marine Corps. They have such a long history. It's rich. If you ever get to go to Virginia, the Marine Corps Museum, it's excellent. And my husband has a brick there too with his name. And so look for that too. It's pretty cool. So long history, love me a Marine. And of course, the Marine Corps motto is Semper Fi, Semper Fidelis, always faithful. And I love that. It speaks some rich history there. Well, this sure was fun to make. And I tell you what, you could take this in any color scheme. I've seen pink camouflage, blue camouflage. You could just take this sort of soap method and do any kind of cool color scheme, I think would be really fun with this sort of plopping in the mold. I love it. So now I'm going to let these set for a few hours. They are pretty firm today, which is nice, but then I'll come in and bevel, and then when I bevel, I'll pick out some colors and show you how I fill in the little air pocket holes, which really aren't that bad. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you give the camouflage method of pouring soap or plopping soap a try. It really is fun, and if you have a different color scheme, I'd love to hear about it. You could do a desert cami too. So I think pink would be really fun to do one of these in a pink theme. All right, I'm going to do things a little different today because I have my little Eagle, Globe, and Anchor Marine Corps stamp. I hope the reflection isn't too bad on that. And it's so shallow. This is a wax seal. And so I wanted to do this while my soaps were fresh. So it's only been about 20 minutes since we cut. So let's go ahead and try one here and see how it comes out. We'll do all the things. I'm going to bevel. I'm going to fill in that air hole. And then I'll do my signature stamp. And then we're going to try my little wax stamp and see if I can get a Marine Corps symbol on here. I'm really hoping it comes through, especially because I didn't do, you know, the Marine Corps colors is the scarlet red and navy blue is kind of their signature color. It's highlighted on their dress uniforms and all of that, and the Marine Corps flag. And so I did not do those colors, and so I really want the emblem to come through. I'm really hoping. All right, so I'm just being real gentle because this is early on. All right, there is the hole I need to fill. Let me come over here to my box. Here is a soap shaving, and it has some green on it, and I need green for that. So I'm just going to pop that off, and it's just like playing with Play-Doh. It's very pliable and easy. So I make like a little cylinder so I can kind of push it in and fill in as much as you need. And look at that. Air hole gone. And as this cures out, you won't even be able, now you can kind of see where I smudged my finger, but you won't be able to see that after this cures out. All right, all the talking done. Let's see where I want to do. I guess let's do this side. It has a busier pattern. All right, so I have a paper towel. I was going to do a little paper plate, but I wanted the towel so I can kind of tap it. I'm not even really sure how we're going to go about this. Let me put some of my, here, I'll show you, my gold glitter, which I love. Oh my, it's very puffy, so be careful when you're using it. This is a shimmer gold from Nurture Soap, which is now called Nurture Handmade. It's one of my favorite golds. I love it. So here we go. Oh golly. And I don't even know if I'm going to need my mallet for this. I'm going to try just pressing it a little, and I want to make sure it's the correct angle. Let's see. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm kind of afraid to do this. All right, let's go. How about kind of in the corner? I'm going to just give it a tap. Let's see what we've got. Oh, look at that. It's very faint, but you know what? You can see what it is. Oh, yay. All right. I don't know what I was expecting, but I think that's cute. I think we're getting the theme across. You can definitely see the eagle, globe, and anchor. I don't know why that's a tongue twister for me. But there it is. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's cute. All right, now I've got to do the rest of my soaps. I'm glad I'm doing this while it's a little soft. It makes filling in the holes easier, too, when your soaps are super fresh. So, all right, there it is. Let me get to the rest of these. I thank you so much for joining me today. Again, happy birthday to all the Marines out there. 250th, that's an awesome number. It's huge, it's big, it's awesome. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day.